publicity around homelessness, and Canberra, because it is predominantly a wealthy city, is a very difficult city to be poor in. If you're poor in Canberra, the winters are colder and longer than they would be if you did live in a nice home. The fact that the majority of the population are high socioeconomic, have good education, etc., means that there's a big divide between those who have and those who don't have. There is a shortage of housing as well. Now, while bricks and mortar isn't the only problem around homelessness, it certainly adds to the complexity. Many people live the very fine line of they're only one large bill or one small incident away from being homeless or at risk of being homeless. Certainly, we have a large percentage of under 25s who struggle to break away from the family home, struggle to become independent, and the cost of housing when they're on apprentice wages or indeed aren't fortunate to have employment is just impossible. So there is a large percentage of under 25s, probably as much as 50% to 2/3 of homelessness in Canberra actually is in that demographic. Also within that demographic, there's a lot of young single mums whose circumstances have meant that they're homeless or at risk of being homeless. They're struggling to support their families and look after their children, and at the same time to be able to become independent in sustainable housing is a very long journey for them. So it's not just about the housing, it's actually about all the support mechanisms that they need around them as well to ensure that they do have the best footing possible to become sustainable in their independent living. There's also the notion of older people, especially pensioners who've never really accepted any welfare in the past. They've gone through their life really living under the radar, but often just living on a pension if they've got no other surplus or no other means, and indeed they don't have their own house, so they have to pay for private accommodation. That is also very tough. To live on a pension and pay private accommodation rents in Canberra is often impossible. So once again, it comes back to needing more public housing stock to alleviate some of that problem, and also support and subsidise the high costs of rents in Canberra. Well, the Canberra Community Sleepout will help in many ways. It really is a wonderful initiative between two very well-known organisations, Communities at Work and St Vincent de Paul's Canberra and Goulburn. Both organisations do a myriad of support services to help those who are most disadvantaged and at risk in our community. One of the major issues of homelessness is understanding that it's not just about rough sleepers, it's very much about all the complex issues around homelessness, and the fact that, you know, the big majority, 95% of people who are homeless or at risk of being homeless actually live in cars or couch surf or utilise friendships to be able to stay in people's houses. Also equally important is the fact that we need to raise much needed funds. The fact is that both organisations get limited funds from government, and much of what we do is through the generosity, the goodwill of the Canberra community. Fundraising and philanthropic donations is a major part of what we do, and to keep on doing the great work we do, we need more funds.